the Democrats and the international left want to set back the economy and your quality of life about 200 years. What started with Barack Obama's war on coal back in 2008 is now again in full force. The Democrats are literally using the full power of the federal government to force the United States and the economy to become dependent on the most inefficient sources of energy. And the jokes about you eating bugs to save the planet are not a joke anymore. Let me remind you what Barack Obama said as a candidate to the San Francisco Chronicle back in 2008.
So if somebody wants to build a coal-powered plant, they can. It's just that it will bankrupt them because they're going to be charged a huge sum for all that greenhouse gas that's being emitted.
He wasn't kidding. Then and now. Biden, who's become an empty vessel for Obama's third, perhaps even fourth term, is running with that playbook. The people who live in big mansions, are chauffeured around in big limousines, and of course, fly in private jets and eat pretty much whatever they want, do not care that this is what this is going to do to you and the quality of life as it declines. They are above and beyond it all. Here's John Kerry telling you that the elite globalist left are done with your enjoyment of inexpensive and abundant energy.
We ought to be transitioning out of coal. There shouldn't be any more coal-fired power plants permitted anywhere in the world. That's how you can do something for health. And the reality is that we're not doing it. So, the measure here is really sounding the alarm bell. I find myself getting more and more militant because I do not understand how adults who are in position of responsibility can be avoiding responsibility for taking away those things that are killing people on a daily basis. And the reality is that the climate crisis and the health crisis are one and the same.
That's right. He's done playing footsie and he's getting militant.
The road to net zero is proving to be quite difficult because we are also seeing climate trailblazers like the UK rolling back on their climate goals. What does that tell you about the reality of energy?
It tells me that some people are being swayed by money and that they're not following through on some of the promises because of pressure of shareholders, pressure of external elements, and it's a problem. We can't go backwards. We cannot allow the Paris Agreement to be walked backwards.
But there are worries that the momentum could change after 2024 elections.
Nobody can I don't believe any politician can stop what is happening now. This transition is
Nobody can stop this. No matter how you vote. This is what democracy looks like. You, the little people, cannot stop this from happening. It's going to be done to you. Doesn't matter how you vote, what political party is in charge, it doesn't matter. They are going forward. These people do not care that our economy and the standard of living cannot be maintained with some plan to run the whole of the U.S. on nothing more than big pinwheels and black mirrors. They don't care if you're hurtled back 200 years. You're just the little people. And you'll just have to get used to it. So as energy prices skyrocket, you'll have to pay more to get less. Shh. Your lights have been on for 3 hours. Your ration time has expired. Good night. Hey, but it's only like 8:30. Shh. I'm sorry. Lights out.
As Vice President, I have partnered with Caribbean leaders, including Prime Minister Terrence Drew. Yes. Mia Motley and others, to launch a new initiative to build climate resilience and renewable energy for island nations. Earlier this year, I was proud to be in Zambia, where we secured $7 billion in private sector investment for initiatives such as climate-smart agriculture and renewable energy projects across the continent of Africa.
So, we're going to be funding all of this green energy in Ukraine, in Africa, and in Caribbean nations. We're $33 trillion in debt, 33 approaching 34. We have an open border. That means more people flowing in who are going to demand the use of more energy. We're going to have more people and less energy. The costs are going to skyrocket. The government's going to force you out of your combustion engine and into an EV, whether you like it or not. The fact that they're not selling, who cares? You want to know what a fascist economy looks like? That's when the government says, you auto producers will produce only what we let you produce. And you know what? If the government is running the charging stations and they don't want you moving about, they'll just kill switch them off. Now, the real winner of the 2016 election, make sure you caught the eye roll. She's in on the act, too.
We're seeing and beginning to pay attention and to count and record the deaths that are related to climate, and by far the biggest killer is extreme heat. I mean, even in Europe last summer, which has the ability to count and figure out what happened, they recorded 61,000 deaths because of the heat in Europe. We don't have that kind of number yet from Africa, Asia, Latin America, but we know and estimate that we probably could measure about 500,000 deaths. And the majority of those are women and girls, and particularly pregnant women.
Oh, my God. The world is coming to an end. Women and minorities affected the most. Donald Trump has been warning about this. He posted on Truth Social. Crooked Joe Biden, the Democrats, despite the lessons recently learned in Germany and numerous other places, want to shut down all U.S. coal plants. This is China is building a great giant coal plant a week. USA death wish. And that's the problem. John Kerry, the Democrats, and the WEF, along with the UN, have no actual plan to enforce their will on China. Now, China will happily sell us all the stuff, right? The turbines, the solar panels. They're cornering the market on EV battery materials because Joe Biden put a moratorium on millions of acres here in the United States. We can't get that nickel. We can't get that cobalt or that palladium or lithium. We just can't do it. So we can't have natural oil, natural gas, natural coal, or EV battery material. Now, what about eating bugs? Oh, come on. That's a conspiracy theory cooked up by you right-wing wackos, is it? Headline Bloomberg. Eat less meat is the message for rich world in food's first net zero plan. UN's FAO is set to publish plan for food's climate transition, food expected to take more focus at COP28 Summit in Dubai. Quote, from farm to fork, food systems account for about a third of global greenhouse gas emissions, and much of that footprint is linked to livestock farming, a major source of methane, deforestation, and biodiversity loss. Although non-binding, the FAO's plan is expected to inform policy and investment decisions, World Economic Forum, and give a push to the food industry's climate transition, which has lagged other sectors in commitments. Oh, so you can't have energy, can't have transportation, and you can't eat. Headline CNBC, how entrepreneurs are persuading Americans to eat bug protein. What's for dinner? According to Barclays, it just might be edible insects. A new report by the investment bank cites the expanding market around the alternative protein source and predicts the edible bug industry could be worth $8 billion by 2030, up from just a little under $1 billion just last year. The product is already found in experimental cuisines and boasts an eco-friendly reputation, but it is yet to go mainstream despite the proven market for meat alternatives. The plant-based meat market generated revenue of $4.2 billion globally in 2018, driven largely by companies such as Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat. You have a graphic there? There you go. You're not going to have that Christmas goose or Christmas turkey or Christmas ham. Pass the mealworms. Can I get a side of crickets? They're going to set you back 200 years. You won't be able to turn on the television, the air conditioning, light your home, heat your home, or eat. I guess we'll all be wearing government-issued pajamas and riding bicycles and living in thatched and mud huts. Welcome to 2024.